The story that has rocked the baseball world during spring training is not about a new signing, a trade, or an injury. It is about something far more dangerous, a crack in the foundation of the most powerful team in baseball. According to multiple sources close to the situation, Shohei Ohtani, the $700 million superstar and the undisputed centerpiece of the Los Angeles Dodgers, has made a decision that has left the entire organization in a state of shock. He is leaving spring training, and 3 teams across the league are already losing their minds. To understand how we got here, you have to go back to a private meeting inside the Dodgers front office just days ago. According to insiders, Ohtani sat down with team leadership to discuss the Dodgers' plans for the 2026 season. On the surface, it was supposed to be a routine conversation, a check-in between a franchise and its biggest star. But what happened inside that room changed everything. Sources say the Dodgers raised the possibility of restructuring Ohtani's role during certain stretches of the season. The argument was simple on paper. They wanted to protect him. With a 162-game season ahead, and Ohtani coming off yet another surgical procedure just 2 years ago, the front office believed the smart move was to create off days and manage his two-way workload more aggressively than last season. A senior baseball analyst who has been following the situation closely said, "The Dodgers thought they were being responsible. What they didn't realize is that to Ohtani, being managed is the same as being doubted. That is not how this man thinks. That is not how he has ever operated." And that, according to sources, is exactly where the tension began. Ohtani's response was immediate and unambiguous. He told the front office directly that he had not spent the last 2 years rebuilding his body, retraining his arm, and pushing himself through 2 consecutive surgical recoveries just to be handled carefully. He made it clear that his preparation for 2026 had been unlike anything he had done before. He was throwing 99 miles per hour fastballs in live sessions. He was hitting 4 home runs in a single outdoor batting practice. He was not a player who needed to be protected. He was a player who needed to be trusted. Sources say Ohtani told the team directly, "I have done everything you asked. I have followed every plan, every program, every restriction. Now I am ready. Either you believe in what I have built, or we have a very serious problem." For the Dodgers organization, those words landed like a bomb. And then came the departure. On February 23rd, Ohtani officially left Dodgers spring training in Arizona to join Team Japan for the World Baseball Classic. On the surface, this was always part of the plan. Manager Dave Roberts had publicly confirmed that Ohtani's preparation schedule was proceeding as designed. Roberts even went out of his way to say that the final bullpen sessions before Ohtani's departure had gone smoothly and met every technical goal set by the coaching staff. But what Roberts did not say, and what sources are now revealing, is that the atmosphere surrounding Ohtani's departure was anything but routine. According to people inside the organization, Ohtani left Arizona without his usual warmth toward the front office. The conversations that typically accompany a star player's temporary departure, the reassurances, the check-ins, the collaborative planning were notably absent. One source described the mood as professional but cold. Another said simply, "Everyone in that building felt it." Now the question gripping the baseball world is this. What happens when Ohtani returns from the World Baseball Classic? Does he come back to Los Angeles as the anchor of a back-to-back World Series champion, fully committed and ready to lead? Or does he come back with something unresolved? A tension that festers through the early months of the season and eventually forces the most dramatic story in baseball history. Because while the Dodgers are trying to keep things quiet, 3 other teams are absolutely not staying quiet. The New York Yankees are the first team that insiders say have already begun internal conversations about a world in which Ohtani becomes available. This is not a new obsession for the Yankees organization. For years, New York has watched Ohtani operate at a level that defies baseball logic and has quietly positioned itself as the one franchise with the market size, the history, and the financial firepower to make a legitimate run. Sources say Yankees leadership believes that if any tension between Ohtani and the Dodgers reaches a breaking point, New York will be the first call his representatives make. An executive close to the situation put it bluntly. The Yankees do not panic. But when it comes to Ohtani, they are absolutely paying attention to every signal coming out of Los Angeles right now. The second team monitoring the situation closely is the Chicago Cubs. This might surprise some fans, but insiders say the Cubs have been laying the groundwork for a major move for several years, and their front office believes the window to return to World Series contention is now. Adding Ohtani would not just upgrade their roster. It would transform the entire identity of the franchise overnight. Sources say Cubs ownership has had preliminary conversations about what a pursuit of Ohtani would look like financially and logistically, and the numbers they are willing to discuss are staggering. One industry source said, "Chicago is not going to sit quietly if there is even a 10% chance Ohtani becomes available. They will move faster than anyone expects." The third team, and perhaps the most interesting, is the San Francisco Giants. For years, the Giants have rebuilt quietly, stockpiling prospects, clearing financial space, and waiting for the right moment to make a defining move. Sources say that within the Giants organization, Ohtani's name has come up repeatedly in discussions about the franchise's future. The rivalry with the Dodgers adds another dimension entirely. Imagine Ohtani in a Giants uniform, walking into Dodger Stadium. It would be the single greatest shift of power in the history of the National League West. A source familiar with Giants ownership said, "They have not forgotten that they had a chance to be a destination for elite talent. They are not going to let this moment pass without at least exploring it." Now, to be clear, none of this means Ohtani is walking out of Los Angeles tomorrow. He signed a 10-year, $700 million contract with the Dodgers. He has a full-time home in Southern California. He has built relationships with teammates like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman that go beyond baseball. And from a pure performance standpoint, the Dodgers are the best team in baseball. They have won back-to-back World Series titles. Their roster is built to win again in 2026. But here is the reality that every baseball person understands. The biggest contracts in sports history have not always stopped players from eventually forcing their way out. And when trust between a franchise and its superstar begins to erode, even slightly, the consequences can move faster than anyone anticipates. The Dodgers built their entire identity around Ohtani. Their marketing strategy, their ticket sales, their global brand, their championship ambitions, all of it flows through one person. Losing him would not just be a roster move. It would be a seismic event that reshapes the entire landscape of Major League Baseball. Meanwhile, Ohtani continues to perform at a level that makes this story even more surreal. In his final spring training session before departing for Team Japan, he threw a fastball clocked at 99 miles per hour. He struck out batters in simulated innings. He hit home runs in batting practice that left teammates and coaches standing still with their mouths open. This is a man who has been surgically repaired twice in 3 years and is now throwing harder than most healthy pitchers in baseball. This is a man who spent 2024 recovering from elbow surgery, returned to pitch in 2025, posted a 2.87 ERA in 14 starts, and then went out in the postseason and delivered in the biggest moments when the pressure was at its highest. This is not a player in decline. This is not a player the Dodgers can afford to lose. And yet here we are. The coming weeks will tell us everything. When Ohtani returns from the World Baseball Classic and steps back into that Dodgers clubhouse, every reporter, every analyst, and every player in that room will be watching carefully. The body language, the conversations, the relationship between Ohtani and Dodgers leadership, all of it will be read like a map. Because the truth is, you can replace a pitcher. You can upgrade a lineup. You can trade for depth and sign free agents and manage a roster in 100 different ways. But you cannot replace Shohei Ohtani. And right now, 3 teams across this league are waiting, quietly, patiently, desperately, for the Dodgers to forget that. That is the end of the video. If you want to stay ahead of every development in this story, make sure you follow the channel, turn on notifications so you never miss a breaking update, and share this video with the biggest MLB fan you know. This one is just getting started.